lot of Bayonetta 2 is based around one mechanic, which is infinite climax. And
Hey,
like,
yo.
okay, whatever.
What kind of climax?
It's called infinite climax, or it's like, or it's some kind of climax, or
That's
what.
crazy.
I didn't know women could do that.
Or it's something like, oh my god, Jesus. Well, time to get a water. I'll be back.
Even though nobody asked, we delivered. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. My name is Nestani.
I am Jaxler.
I'm DECosmic.
And unfortunately today, ladies and gentlemen, Coley has been sold on a slave auction block. He will not be joining us this week. And so it's just going to be the three of us, you know. It's truly a tragedy, you know. We're going to try to scrounge up the funds to get him back, you know. We're going to do our best. If we get 3 likes on this video, we'll get him back.
3 whole likes.
That's all he's worth.
Jesus.
Hey, I'm, you know.
Damn,
supply and
shit's
demand,
rough on
I
the
don't know,
content
man.
The
area.
case for 5 likes, go ahead.
True.
You got me there.
No, it's one like for every host this week. So, hey.
Yeah, unfortunately, Cole's not with us today. He's out of town, but that is okay because we got the 3 of us here, and we're queer. Well, I'm not, but like they are. I just wanted to rhyme. I'll be so for real. But GreenSuigi has been robbed again, ladies and gentlemen. GreenSuigi's broke as fuck.
Is he though?
No,
I don't think he is.
No.
I think he's far from
doing
it.
fine.
He's like 17, isn't he? He's probably like
No,
Yeah.
he's 19.
Oh, he's 19. Oh, I
Yeah.
feel old.
He's like 12. You know,
11, 10,
that's fair.
9,
9,
8. Okay,
8.
so
This bit sucks. Yeah, let's continue.
So
Green's.
go ahead. Yeah, you got it.
I was just gonna say, GreenSuigi got robbed for once.
That's crazy.
I'm just joking.
Only ever once in his life.
Yeah,
has he been robbed.
only once. Only just this once. So the like big thing that kind of hit the speedrunning scene recently is the speedrunning marathon known as PACE has shut its doors basically forever.
Oh wait, they're like done? I didn't know.
They're
that.
like
I
they
thought
are
they just
done.
robbed him.
Yeah.
Well, that was
all I
part
heard
of
about.
it. So here's the big thing. For those of you who don't know, in the Melee scene, there is this group called VG Boot Camp, who have been part of like the grassroots Melee scene since like the dawn of time.
Go to
And
VG Boot Camp.
they
Or it used to be
they
VG
also
Boot
run a
Camp.
local called Xanadu, and for a while they had their Xanadu locals at this place called Laurel Park, which is like attached to like this horse racing track, I think. But like the venue was pretty sweet, right? But like very quickly, like the Xanadu folks just kind of got kicked out of the venue, and we're like, see ya. So Xanadu had to shut down.
Yep.
And Xanadu is also where they ran PACE. So that's a big.
I see.
That is a big part of the reason why, like it. You know, it might not be like the reason why it shut down, but it happens to coincide, and it kind of makes sense when you look at the context of everything. So it's unfortunate that Xanadu shut down because Xanadu is a great venue, and you know they were supporting the, you know, for we'll talk about PACE as an organization in a sec, but you know like. Xanadu themselves were, I just kind of feel bad for them because they kind of lost their venue, which really sucks.
I was a semi-OG of Xanadu back when they were in, like, they were closer to Delaware, but they were, I guess, a little further from Baltimore. They were getting, like, the tournaments were getting run out of, like, this card shop or whatever, and then all of the tournaments and stuff would just happen for the fighting game community, like, in the back, and then they also had Melee there, too. But yeah, I remember that because I mean there was even like times where they had like a barbecue out back and everything there. It was fucking sick.
And
then they went to they went to that big venue, and I didn't go to a single tournament at that big venue because it was like an extra 2 hours away or some bullshit.
Like,
Yeah.
Extra hour, 2
like,
hours away. So fuck that.
It's like hard to put into words like how influential Xanadu is.
Xanadu
not
is
even just like on a
especially-
grassroots team. There are several people who have built their careers by just being at Xanadu and being around. Coney, TK Breezy. I mean, like, for just to name two.
TK and
right?
E,
I mean,
like they were the ones
E
that
as
really,
well,
like,
yeah.
started
VG
a career
Bootcamp
there.
built their career too. Like
Yeah,
VG Bootcamp, Gimmer and all that.
Gimmer
I
and
think
Apostle,
Gimmer's still there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where it all started.
Yeah.
Brawl, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bro, baby. God, that game sucks. So
True.
Xanadu's shut
Great
down.
casual game though. Amazing.
Yes,
casual
I
game.
agree.
Yeah, that's true.
Goated. So Xanadu's shut down, but there's also been some stuff coming out about the PACE organization as a whole that has kind of also culminated in the organization shutting down. The PACE as a whole has, like, to parts of the speedrunning community, had this reputation of not being well organized and, like, the highest quality of org, if that makes sense. Like, just in terms of, like, mismanagement, they had some online events during the I think one of the PACE events got canceled due to the pandemic, so they, like, hastily threw something together online, and it was not a great experience for some of the runners that I talked to.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's also like
And then,
hastily throwing it out online. I think you can give them that one.
yeah, but I'm not able to recount the whole story of some of the things that, like, went down with that, just because I don't know for full. But, like, it, from what I gathered from, like, Helix, for example, it seemed a little bit more than just, like, it was just kind of a nightmare.
Probably just an egregious amount of. I mean, I think that, like, obviously we can
An
give a
egregious
little
amount of lack of oversight and just like planning.
We can
and,
give a little
and,
in terms of, like, well, it was probably hastily thrown together, and there's only so much you can expect from an event like that. But I think it probably went beyond
the
what
thing
you
of
could
it
expect.
is from what I've been told, they've kind of had a track, like, it's been kind of a part of their identity, for better or for worse. Well, not even for better or for worse, just for worse.
For worse or for worse.
Yeah.
For worse or for worse, yeah.
Yeah. It's, like, been kind of a part of their, you know, and there's been some stuff that I don't know, like, the full details, but, like, there's been some stuff coming out from, like, how things were really chaotic behind the scenes in terms of management. And then, honestly, kind of even more ridiculous stuff about the guy at the top, Milo, who's been, like, I need to, like, dig
Actively
deeper into,
robbing
like,
GreenSuigi.
yes. That's, yeah. And also just, like, just seems like a dick and just, like,
for
isn't
sure.
doing a great, well, not just because he, okay, so the whole GreenSuigi money thing is, and part of the reason too, like, why PACE had a weird reputation is because they focused so heavily on the top tiers and also, like, these big LTA, like, 1 or 2 day tournaments. Which is not I'm not saying that that's a thing you should be, like, against or anything like that, because they were the first to really do it and push it
And it was hype.
bring it, and it was hype, yeah.
Cool event.
But speedrunners always get really weird whenever prize money gets involved, and prize money was involved with something like PACE, I believe. So that's why some people had weird feelings about it, right? But in GreenSuigi's case, you know, he
done
won.
it again.
Yeah, he did it again. He won the PACE LTA for 120 star, I believe.
Yep.
And got, like, an insane time that would have probably been record.
He dropped a 135, which, yes, if he didn't get record, would have been
I thought it was
record.
a 36.
No, it was a 35.
Jesus Christ.
He dropped another record live on the stage.
That's kind of
Fucked up.
For those who don't know what an LTA is, just to define it, you're basically given a stretch of time, like, in some of these, it can be up to, like, 8 hours or something like that, to try to get the fastest run you can. And whoever has, like, gets the fastest run that day wins the thing. And then it, like, goes down in placements from there based on the best time that you achieve.
Is that called, does that stand for, like, limited time attack?
I think so.
Like that?
Yeah.
It's
I think
a
that's
little weird of an acronym, but
Yeah, you basically attempt as many runs as you can in a window, like every day, basically. And so they do that for 3 days, and whoever has the lowest time at the end of 3 days wins, basically. And I think Suigi dropped the 35, I think, on day 2. And so he only did, like, 1 run on day 3 because, like, I mean,
you got to drop a record at that point
to like, you're winning. You've won.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I mean?
over. It's
like,
just torched.
It's so over, right? And so like, and obviously he was like emotional about like dropping that kind of time on stage to begin with, right? But he still did show up to the third day to do another run, right? Because like at the end of the day, he is like the face of the event, especially like this one because of like the recent storm of him getting 5 out of 5 and whatever. Like, you know, there's a lot of people want to see him play. Right. And that's just like the vibe. And he still showed up for third day to do a thing. But then what ended up happening in the DMs, which I did not read all of because he posted all of them on Blue Sky.
Which is a lot. There's a lot of shit.
A lot of DMs. I did not read them all because I'm on a hard no Twitter, no Blue Sky kick right now. I'm trying to. I'm not on that shit, but Detox. I just opened it and then I read a couple and I was like, oh, you know, I read like the first like 4 and then I was like,
Nestani is scrolling, audio listeners. He is scrolling right now.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, okay, word. But yeah, the TLDR of what I read was that the guy, I don't know, what was his name, Jax?
Milo?
Milo was basically like, hey, we're going to not give you like $400 because you didn't play enough on like the third day or whatever. And because you basically didn't play on the third day, we're going to cut your earnings by a third.
What the fuck?
Which was not agreed upon. And then I think also in that this needs to be fact checked because I don't know for sure, but I forgot what I was going to say. Oh shit. No way, man. Hello?
Sick.
What was I saying? The fucking
Before
Jesus Christ, my brain.
He got shorted a third of his winnings.
He got shorted
a third. Yeah.
Apparently there was a conversation where he basically like talked to GreenSuigi or GreenSuigi talked to him about like him playing on the third day, and he was like, hey, we really want you to play on the third day, like even though you've won, like we still want you to play on the third day for like viewership, I think, or something like that. This is the part that needs to be fact checked. I don't know if this conversation happened, but in the context of that conversation, nowhere in that conversation did he say, hey, if you don't play a lot on the third day, we're going to take your money, smile. And like I didn't know they were at the same venue as Xanadu, but now that they're getting kicked out of the venue now, it's just like, oh, okay, he's just trying to cut as many corners as possible to lose as little money as possible now. And it's just like, dude, just pay the people. Yeah, like part of the thing of being an event organizer, I understand that it's a very big sacrifice to be an event organizer. Oftentimes you're in the red. Oftentimes you're doing it specifically for the love of the game. But like, if like this is just reeks of like, I'm doing this not for the love of the game, I'm doing this for the money, and it didn't work out, and so now I'm going to try to recoup as much of my losses as possible by taking it from rightful winners. And just because GreenSuigi is GreenSuigi and he does have a prolific Twitch career and he does like have all these things or whatever, doesn't mean that he deserves to be like have his shit taken from him, right? That's just dumb. Like I don't care how much prejudice you have against these Mario runners. Like he earned that shit.
Oh, I agree, 110%.
I mean, as far as I know, there's no clause, right, where it says that you have to play a certain amount of times across like the 3 days. You could, like, realistically, GreenSuigi could have dropped that shit the first run that he did on day one, and then not been obligated to play the rest of the time. Like,
So, but like the whole thing is that like he did play on the third day, and that's the thing is that he definitely did not. No one expected him to play on the third day, but he did a run. He did a no reset on the third day, which a no reset, I think it's like an hour and 40 minutes, hour and 50 minutes, depending on like how good or bad it was, right? That's almost 2 hours of GreenSuigi time on the stage, right? Which is like pretty good because I think the LTA time limits is either 6 or 8 hours, so it's like it's not even like, you know. It's a good chunk of time. Obviously, it's not the whole day, and also it is the third day, and ideally on the third day you want hype, but it's also just like, at some point it's just like, bro, like even if he was playing, no one was going to watch it on the third day because the shit happened.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like he dropped a 35. It's over. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I get that you want to meet your viewership quota at the end of the event on the third day because that's typically where your viewership was maxed out, but I guarantee you when Suigi was on that fucking cooker of a run, everyone is probably tuning in at that specific time to watch that run, right? Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. Like, there's no way to justify just, like, ripping a shit, you know?
The other thing, too, is, like, and I don't want this to get glossed over, is that this Milo character, this doesn't seem to be an abnormal piece of behavior from him. I saw a post on Blue Sky from GT Ace, and where he kind of mentions that like a bunch of other people have either in the past or even recently like come out with like statements or documents like detailing like manipulation tactics and just really shitty behavior from this guy. So I'm not really shocked. I think Milo is also probably a big reason why a lot of other people didn't like Pace, or like people who had worked with Pace before then stopped working with Pace probably had something to do with that. There might have been other issues that I'm not aware of as well, because again, I don't really know much about Pace because
no way Jaxler doesn't want to watch Mario 64.
I never wanted I never wanted to go to Pace because you know who Pace really loved to keep supporting? Shift. So yeah. So I was like, well, I'm never gonna show up to one of those because I don't trust that guy. So I'm not gonna.
That's fair. I mean, it's one of those things too where like, I don't know, events that are clearly just for one part of the community and I'm not talking about like in the way that RPG Limit Break is, right? Where RPG Limit Break is clearly for one sector of the community, but it is at the end of the day altruistic, and it's still it's basically like a shoot off, right?
Yeah, but it's also like RPG runs kind of have a hard time getting into events.
It's true. Yeah.
So it's
absolutely.
like supporting
like
a community
16 hours long, bro.
Yeah.
Well, 6.
It's like a full feature-length film and a half.
Yeah. It's a full TV season.
Yeah.
You know. And but like on the other hand, like this is like a section of the community that is not struggling for any sort of support or anything like that. You know, it's the top tiers. It's the big ones. Like,
yeah, it's a win more for, you know, like a win more mechanic or like a win more thing.
And honestly, like, I don't know what this guy Milo's end game is, but to Nestani's point of like, oh yeah, just because GreenSuigi has a big Twitch following and a big Twitch career doesn't mean he should get his shit jacked. If anything, you would think that you wouldn't want to fuck with the guy that has the huge following, because it's very likely that a lot more people are going to give a shit if you fuck this guy over, you know, like way more than somebody that's a little smaller, right? Obviously, people are still going to give a shit if you fuck over somebody on the other end of the spectrum, right? But it's like the big dude, come on, dog. Like it's a no-brainer. Like, what's the end game here, dude?
Yeah, and it's also like GreenSuigi. He I don't know why I feel the need to say his name differently every single time. But like also the thing with Suigi is that like he is because I actually simply was there. He was one of the biggest faces there, right?
Yeah,
and
one of the biggest
like,
faces, yeah.
Snubbing him specifically, like he's gonna tell people
talk about it.
Yeah, he's gonna talk about it.
It's gonna be like even worse.
Because $400 is a lot of money.
Yeah, because like even though he has like a Twitch career and stuff and whatever, he doesn't have it like some of the Twitch streamers. Like you know, at the end of the day, he's only averaging like 500, 600, which is way more than like any of us have. Like, and it's pretty solid, but in terms of like a full-time like job thing, it's still not the greatest. Like for like Twitch, you know, you're still kind of having you're still getting that from the mud a little bit, 500 to 600 viewers. You know what I mean? It's not.
And if he ever swaps off Mario 64 or gets burned out and doesn't want to play it anymore,
he's literally playing zero. He was doing like 0-star attempts in this like mod, and he has 200 viewers.
Yeah,
because he's not playing. Because he's not playing vanilla Mario, right? And his viewership's cut in half, right? And it's just like, you know, again, 100 views is still good, but you know, you're still getting that from the mud. And obviously, like, you know, I don't know if he's moved out or anything or whatever, but like,
probably not.
$400 is $400, and if you took $400 from me, I'm gonna kill you. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just.
If you took it directly out of my pocket, yeah, there's gonna be we're gonna have a few words with each other real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with like some of the event organization lately. I mean, between ESA and Pace, like, it seems
very
like
2 out of the 3
strange.
big dogs have been cringe. Like,
well, you can. I mean, I would call RPG Limit Break also a big dog.
Yeah.
So like 2 out of 4.
RPG Limit Break.
Is it a big dog?
GDQ. Speedrun.
Yeah, it is.
RTA in Japan.
There's
still a lot
in
of
Japan.
big.
Sure. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Speedrun is also. You know, it's big when GDQ's doing an English restream of it.
That's true. Yeah.
That's how you know. But like,
I would say that RPG Limit Break is a big dog because it's been around for so damn long. Like, it's been around for at least 10 years, right?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I was just curious if they pull like the same numbers that like GDQ USA and like pull.
I don't think it's the same as GDQ, but it's big enough for RPG runs. For a week-long charity marathon that's not GDQ and is based in America, I think it's the second biggest.
Bigger than Midwest?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'd say so.
I definitely think so.
We're talking pace, right?
Well, I was talking about RPG Limit Break.
RPG Limit Break.
Oh yeah, RPG Limit Break's way bigger than Speedfast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just never heard of RPG Limit Break. So
I mean, it makes sense since you don't really do RPG runs. So
what are you talking about?
Fire.
Yeah, I was like on the GDQ stage.
Are you gonna submit? Are you gonna submit Fire Emblem Sacred Stones to RPG Limit Break?
No.
Well, no, because
all right then.
He's not even going to submit runs to GDQ, so it's like.
Bro, I don't have.
But you're not.
Time.
You're not an RPG runner. You're not an RPG runner. Is my point. You might run an RPG game.
He is.
You might run an RPG.
We were in call the other night, like watching the Kotor 2 run to like see if that's something that he was interested in.
That's true.
Did it end up being something you were interested in or no?
Not the any % one, but the
extender.
It's like the not super duper cringe one, but still kind of cringe one. Because basically, for those unaware, here we go. For those unaware, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2 are two of my favorite games ever. And by two of my favorite games, are my top 2 favorite games ever. KOTOR 2 is my favorite game of all time, and KOTOR 1 is my second favorite game of all time. So
KOTOR 1 is fucking good, man.
And that's what we call good taste.
Yeah, and so I was looking through their runs like back in like probably like 2020, 2021, like when I was like thinking about like, you know, whatever games I would move on to after Scooby, and then I was just like, I'll look up KOTOR. And then literally, if you all haven't seen the KOTOR run, imagine a pause menu, any pause menu, right? Imagine
or like a loading screen.
Yeah, imagine a pause menu, and you have load game and save game, and under like load and the save game, you have like multiple different files that you can do it. So what you do in any % is that you save a file and you load a file and then you save a file and you load a file and then you save a file and then you load a file and then you watch a loading screen and then it loads and then you save and then load and then you save and then load and then you save and then load, and you're literally just playing like pause screen simulator for 20 minutes straight. And it might be the most cringe thing that I've ever seen in my life, and I saw that and I was like, I'm never fucking running this game ever. And then I don't know how me and Jax got onto it the other night, but I just happened to look back into the KOTOR runs, and I was looking at the KOTOR 2 runs because I remember looking at the KOTOR 1 runs more extensively back in the day, and I didn't really look at the KOTOR 2, and then I was like, you know what, I'll look at. And so then I went over, and there's like a glitchless, which is like 2 hours long. Not doing that. But then there's like this intermediate like run where basically you don't do the whole like saving and loading bit, because basically the reason that the saving and loading bit works is because they use a prologue character and a dev character. And so like there's an exclusive character. Yeah, they basically there is a droid at the very beginning of the game in the prologue before you get to Paragus. That droid normally blows up, but they keep the droid, which shouldn't be a thing, and then they also load in a dev character which has a gun called Kill Blaster or Kill Gun or something, which literally one shots everything in the game.
That's so fucking hilarious. Actually,
it is pretty funny, but they load in like a dev character and use that, and then let's be so for real, there's so much going on. I don't really know what's going on. They have a really well documented thing. I just didn't read all that, and what I did read, I didn't really understand. I'll be
yeah. I was like translating like half of that call. It was really fucking funny. I really was.
I was just like, Jax, what the fuck does this mean, dog?
What does this mean?
Bro, I need
Kowalski
Jax.
Analysis.
I need Jax to read my fucking film papers, bro.
Mean,
like,
dude?
goddamn, I can't read half the words that I'm reading.
Holy
I need
shit.
Jax to translate. Yeah, and so basically funny. You don't do any of that stuff, and so it opens up the game for a lot more cool tech, like infinite credits, infinite levels, like, you know, and then
the cool RPG shit.
Yeah. And then there's also a part where you can set up your characters in a way that allows you to push a character backwards through a wall, which is pretty fucking cool.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
And then there is a cringe part where, like, if you run forward in the game and then you basically quick save or quick load or something.
Yeah, quick save, quick load. Yeah.
It TPs you slightly further. And then the longer, like the deeper you are into the game, the longer you go. And so it looks really troll because you're walking forward and then you just see loading, floop, loading, floop, loading, floop, and then you're just like further ahead.
Yeah.
And
there's a couple
really
of parts where it's just like,
yeah, a couple times where you're literally just pa 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 pa, and so I was thinking about picking it up. Is that, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to promise anything right now.
How long is it? How long is the category?
Minutes, 50 minutes, hour.
I would still do that.
Yeah, it's not bad, and it's also the thing where like that time, like that like loading skip thing, like you can do it in such a way where you load it and then you can actually see the character moving forward if you space it out enough. But obviously, if you're going for record, you're you know, you just say, oh, I need to hit load 4 times here, and then you hit it 4 times, and then like you don't see the character at all, and then you just TP to where you are. And so like if I were to run it in a marathon, I would just spread those out so you can at least see that I'm moving forward and there's like a, you know,
something happening
while still doing the technique, because I think not doing the technique would be a disservice to like what the actual run is about. But I think there's just a way to manage it, you know.
The thing of it is too is that in the early game of this category, it actually does not save you any time to go for this tech because of the way that the glitch works.
And
then
again, the longer
the
load time, because the deeper you're into the game, the more stuff that the game has to load, which makes it a longer load, which makes you go further. Go ahead. Sorry.
And because of that, the way later game levels, like I don't whatever the one was like by the Jedi Academy, I don't remember the name of that planet.
Dantooine.
Dantooine, yeah. The loads were so much longer that you just zip like halfway across a given like map, and it looks funny.
Damn.
So
and you could see it, which is like the big thing.
You can see it. Yeah. So it's like, because of just like the fact that 80% is so short and like it has all this quick save, quick loads that are like the most hard to pick up on. That's why that category is such ass to watch.
Yeah.
But like this mid-range category might have a little more, but like, you know, like Nestani said, it's like kind of like depends, you know, if that's what he really wants to do with himself.
I kind of run into the same thing, sort of, like to a degree at least, of like, is this fun to watch? Even though I think that some of the techniques are cool with like X-Men Origins Wolverine, where I like watched that, and in order for that game to be like digestible probably to an audience, you would need to play really on like New Game Plus, because that brings it down to like an hour for a time, as opposed to like an hour and a half or an hour 40 in New Game.
Yeah.
But there's like one glitch that really breaks that game, which is so Wolverine has the ability to do a uppercut by like holding down the heavy attack. Yeah, and then he goes like this. You hold down the heavy attack, and then he does an uppercut. If you're in the air and then you start charging heavy attack and then hit grab while moving forward, Wolverine will begin to airwalk. And then you can actually... The game will treat you as though you're on flat ground, so you won't do the slam down that you can normally do from like holding down heavy in the air. You'll be treated as you're on flat ground, and you can uppercut again. So you can do that a bunch of times to get, essentially you can infinite uppercut in order to get, you know, through like over
loading triggers,
walls,
and stuff,
out of bounds, loaded triggers, all that sort of stuff. And what I was hoping for was that the run would be a good mix of this glitch as well as combat. And because it's on New Game Plus, there's pretty much no combat. You're like going in and he's like lore accurate Wolverine, just like, you know, stabbing something and then they're dead.
Yeah.
You know, and then the what's it called? The infinite uppercuts, you basically go out of bounds and then you're walking around like doing shit. And like in the first level, it's cool because you're just kind of going over triggers, or you're going over like the invisible walls and then drop it into other parts of the level. and then just going back in bounds and doing your thing. But that's just because it's a forest level, so there's not really like voids that you're going to walk through. You're going to walk through like certain unloaded sections and then get them to load again. But then when you go into like the Weapon X facility, for example, you're going to go out of bounds, and then you're going to be getting like the big dark areas that where you walk around, and it's like, well, we're here now. So, you know, like it's like
to where we needed to be. Hope that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
In a weird way, like Cosmic said, I feel like you can say that about a bunch of different speed games. I think you could honestly argue that for Neopets in some, like Neopets the Darkest Fairy in some ways, especially in some of the longer categories, because it's like, yeah, you've got the money glitch, like the infinite money glitch and like the cloak glitches and stuff, but a lot of times you're just popping a speed potion and just running around.
I think it also is different for Neopets just because you can very plainly see what things you're loading in, because you could be like, hey, we're about to load this thing, and then you see it, right? Yeah.
But you have to have someone to explain it to you. Oh, if you're just watching it raw, it's like the most like
if you're doing Neopets raw, you don't really know what's going on. But
don't chat, audio listeners, don't do Neopets raw without consent. Okay, always get consent.
Never beating the allegations, Jaxler.
No, I'm just supporting the audio listeners on their dreams and aspirations. Okay,
I back it. Yeah, it's one of those things where like, in order to have like a truly good speed game for like a showcase, because I mean like, I think that in terms of actually grinding a category like that X-Men Origin Wolverine, for example, or like Neopets, a lot of the categories are designed around your execution, right? Your ability to do these glitches consistently and fast. And it's probably decently fun to grind those categories down.
Yeah.
But in terms of showcasing them and keeping people interested, it's like, well, we're going to take Logan over to this wall now, and we're going up. And then we're going up again. Oh, and then this wall too. After we've done like 2 minutes of walking, we're going to uppercut again. And then, we're going to walk for another minute. Guess what's going to happen next, y'all?
We're going to
uppercut. We're going to uppercut again. And it's like, at the very end of the game, it finally breaks things up and gives you like a boss that has enough health that where Logan doesn't one-shot every phase of it. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like, the other 57 minutes is what I'm worried about for the game.
Yeah, but at least like X-Men has like movement though once you're done uppercutting, right? Like it's got like some movement.
There's some movement, I'll say, because there is like actual movement tech with like being able to cancel like the dash claws into a different technique. And there's even stuff where you'll activate a move where he does like a rolling claw. And then you have to mash a QTE to keep it going. And you'll actually do this through certain sections where otherwise he's like walking slowly while talking on his intercom. There's little stuff like that all over the game, but it's like a few things like that and then just one big glitch. And it's like...
So you're telling me I should run this game?
You might like it, honestly.
Yeah, this is sounding less like a you game and more like a me game.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like...
this sounds like something I would eat for breakfast. This sounds great.
It would be good for me if it actually had combat sections in it, but that's like the new game run, and then that's an hour and a half, and I'm like, I'm not interested in that, dude. I got Devil May Cry to play. I got Dynasty Warriors to play. Like, what are we doing here?
I have a combat game for you.
What's up?
All right, so hear me out. Have you ever heard of this game called Scooby-Doo Unmasked?
I'm not running that game, bro.
The game that's all boss fights?
There's combat in that game. You play as Ninja Scooby. Here, I have another pitch. There's a game called Scooby-Doo Night of Frights, and you can charge into monsters. And if you release the B button,
we're just taking the whole deeper, aren't we?
And if you release the B button as you hit them, you frame perfect them, and you can kill every single enemy in the game, like that. And it's swag and cool. Here, I have another combat game for you. All right, hear me out.
Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones.
Super Mario 64.
64.
You stomp on Goombas
die
and kill Koopas. and you kill the Koopas. And you throw Bowser into a bomb. You literally blow up Bowser with a bomb. Like, if that's not combat, I don't know what is.
Do you think you're not allowed to play Mario 64 in an airport as a result?
Yes.
Like, you're just banned from Mario 64? Yeah, I need to go to more airports.
Koopas.
Koopas. Hear me out.
Koopas.
Yeah, I know.
Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones.
Yeah, here
I will
get you
technically a lot of combat in Fire Emblem. The whole game is fighting.
Yeah, there is. It is all combat. Yeah, just not the kind of combat that I really dig my teeth into.
What,
but
you don't like watching combat? You don't like watching what's going on?
Well, I like RPGs, but
you like RPGs?
RPGs, yeah.
Actually,
I thought about running Resonance of Fate. What's up?
I had a question that was like kind of related. How come you don't run any of the Bayonetta games? That seems like it'd be up your alley.
He would get distracted by her
3.
ass. You know, it's just not, it's not. It's
I
not,
very
it's
much
not
wouldn't
good
because the camera's very far zoomed out. It doesn't really matter. But number 3, Bayonetta. Bayonetta 3. Bayonetta 3 is not good and long.
Yeah.
Bayonetta 2. I only really enjoyed my casual playthrough, but a lot of Bayonetta 2 is based around one mechanic, which is infinite climax, and I'm just kind of okay, whatever.
What kind of
climax? It's called infinite climax, or it's like, or it's some kind of climax, or
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's called climax.
I didn't know women could do that.
It's like, or it's something like, oh my god, Jesus. Well, time to get a water. I'll be back.
Oh, there he goes. Oh, he's actually leaving. All right, don't worry, Jaxler. Now we can talk about how women climax now on the call. Just you and me, buddy.
I thought you were going to say how women climb, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
How women climb every mountain because they have to climb so many
she's
mountains.
A climber.
She climbed some. You know, was she climbing? Jaxler's big. Anyway, what were we talking about last week?
My big top tier, yeah.
Yeah, your big top tier.
That's a callback to last episode.
We don't know what callbacks are.
Okay, so Bayonetta.
So the other thing, Bayonetta 2, I really only liked.
Bayonetta's hot. Oh,
yeah, it's true. She a baddie. But the thing is
I'll
like.
take your word for it.
So Bayonetta 2 is really just based around like one central mechanic, and there's like vehicle sections and other shit like this.
Oh,
like especially at the very start of the run, and I'm kind of like whatever. It's also, I think, bordering on the 2-hour mark. I don't quote me on that, but I'll look it up real quick. But let me see here. Typers. Bayonetta 2. Okay, it's like an hour and a half, but like whatever. The problem with Platinum games that are not named Vanquish is that all of them kind of revolve around like a central mechanic that's like the dopamine hit mechanic, and then the runs for them end up being based a lot around this
because they're just the overpowered option.
Yeah, there's overpowered options. I think that Metal Gear Rising kind of avoids this because the central mechanic being like the blade mode is only situationally useful. There is things though where like they'll do blade mode in Metal Gear Rising to like pause the game basically, and then then you can walk forward with Raiden through like open doors that would otherwise be closing by the time like enemies spawn in, which is pretty sick. But a lot of that run is just really glitch heavy, and like the MGR Vanquish probably, well, Beautiful Joe is not a Platinum game, but it's a Clover's game. But games actually where they were Platinum, a lot of them kind of like revolve around these like central mechanics that you have, and they're like the dopamine hit mechanics. And like Bayonetta 1, I think is probably the best run out of the series, but it's also pretty long. Again, it's like for a really good run, you're still in like the high 130s or like the mid 130s. And I'm like, that's a lot, dude. Like all the Devil May Cries are under like sub 120 or sub 110 even in some cases. Like those games are absurdly fast. And there's, I don't know, I mean, I also just don't really
fuck with Bayonetta.
I don't really know the Bayonetta. Yeah, I just only fuck with Bayonetta.
Like, okay, yeah. You could have literally skipped this entire conversation.
Well, here's the thing is like,
hey,
I mean, the thing is, right?
Defense, you asked him a question and he answered.
Yeah.
You can't get mad at him for that.
Yeah.
The thing too is that like instead of just saying like I don't fuck with Bayonetta, I think that's a little bit like too reductive of an answer.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah,
I mean, you could have just said that it's mid.
Yeah, you could have just said it's mid.
I'm not gonna say it's mid. I mean, I think
that it's peak slop.
I'm not gonna do that either. I'm not gonna do that either, dude.
You gotta really work on this whole killing yourselves thing. Like, you gotta come on.
But
like, you know,
there's very few games. I don't really think there's any game like in terms of action games that matches Devil May Cry, and because of that, like, I tend to be a little bit pickier and lower my standards in some cases for action game speedruns. Bayonetta is a game that is very, very close to being the quality of DMC, but I dislike 1.5 games basically in that series. And it's like Bayonetta 2, I think, is probably the best casual experience. Bayonetta 1's probably the deepest game out of the 3. Bayo 3, I don't like very much. I think that Viola's terribly fun, but like unless you really like fighting enemies that look like Colgate, I really don't think Bayonetta 3 is the Colgate.
Cole,
no, like the toothpaste.
Coley_02.
No, Colgate, the toothpaste.
Oh, you mean the guy who fucking no-showed?
Oh, you mean
my God.
Wait, Colgate? You mean the toothbrush man from Fire Emblem Engage, the main character?
Yes, yeah, that guy.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there's just things about those runs where I'm just kind of like, I mean, some of it's a little bit repetitive, some of it's cool, but I learned
do you kind of like feel that like fully like just platinum games in general, or like just?
Yeah, I mean, okay. I think that they kind of peaked with Bayo 1, Vanquish, and MGR, and then Metal Gear Rising, I should say.
Is No More Heroes platinum games, or am I?
No, that's Grasshopper Manufacturer.
Oh, okay.
And then like after that, like Nier Automata is often credited to them, but that's a Yoko Taro game. That's a Square Enix game. Astral Chain is also pretty good, but like, for example, Astral Chain will like drip feed you basic functions of it for like the first few hours of the game. And that run used to be like 2.5 hours or some bullshit, until there was like a glitch that they found that like sawed the game in half, and now it's like down to a half an hour.
Oh,
yeah, some sort of like
it's fucking cool. Yeah, it actually got into a GDQ recently, and it was because 2 hours got fucking cut off the game.
That'll do it.
That would do it. That'll do it.
In the immortal words of Kyo's Little Monster, when Mello asked them, "Hey, what do you suggest for people that are submitting their game for a really long time and don't get it in?" And Kyo's answers with, "Find a way to cut 3 hours off of your 4-hour speed run." And it's like,
yeah,
can't hate.
I mean, not wrong. Yeah,
not wrong, dude. So, but it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I go back and forth on the Bayonetta games, but I don't know, man. The amount of time that I could spend getting good at Bayonetta, I could just spend getting better at Devil May Cry. I could spend my time learning to be a better partner. Yes, that's true.
True.
I could invest in that.
You should.
However,
you gotta have a partner to be a better partner.
I got 7 to 8 frame windows to hit instead, bro. So
yeah.
I don't have time for a partner. I'm hitting a frame perfect trick right now.
It's true. Yeah, I got
Real
gas skip
to hit, dude.
It's true.
I don't get the reference. I'm not a real one. I do. Actually, I'm gonna field a question to you guys. It's gonna be speedrun relating. I know I'm breaking my own rules here.
Look at you go.
On the topic of like, bringing your 4-hour speed game down 3 hours. What is like the optimal time of getting like a whack ass game into GDQ? Right? Is like what's like the maximum time limit where like they would probably take it? Like, is it an hour, or is it like you want that bitch to like 40 or less, 30 or less? Like, what is your opinion? Like, how high can you go?
I think we got to think about it in terms of estimate. I think the upper cap, like for a really whack ass game, might be an hour 15, and that's pushing it depending on the type of game it is, the genre.
What do you mean by whack, by the way?
Me?
Like something
like anything.
Yeah.
That
What do you mean by whack? Damn.
But I'm not right, because they are weird games, but they're good speed games, right? But they are weird games, and people don't know what they are, right? And so, like, if you're a runner of a game that no one really knows, but like maybe the speedrun school, like what is that time like? And is it worth your investment, right? Because if someone's like looking to pick up a game that they want to get in GDQ that maybe hasn't been in GDQ before, that's like kind of whack but kind of cool, but then it's like 2 hours long, is that too long? Or like, or
it definitely can be. I don't think you're getting. It's difficult for even popular games that are that long to get in, unless your name is like Elden Ring, or Zelda, or what have you, or FF7 Remake. No shade, Wody, but also shade.
Here's the thing: is that during FF7 Rebirth, they had like multiple incentives to like juice donations for. So
true.
It's like this was the thing, right?
It prints money. Right.
That's the thing, yeah. It's because they'll give you those 6 hours for FF7 Rebirth, but if you don't want to do incentives, like then no. Then no. And so like all the incentive stuff that they wanted him to do, he brought it, and they fucking juiced a ton of donations with that run. So like, even if people go, oh well, this is like, you could have gotten 6 games out of this. Instead, it's like, but would you have gotten the same amount of money out of those 6 games? Probably
definitely
not. Probably not.
Unless you ran 6 Elden Ring runs in a row.
It's true, yeah. But like,
I'm still mad, dude. I'm still mad.
To give you an example here too,
SGDQ 2025, ladies and gentlemen.
True, yeah. They'll
do or 5. I don't know.
They'll do like
I lost track.
I don't know. They'll do like a new game plus 100 Shadow of the Air Tree, or whatever the fuck.
To be fair, Elden Ring is fun as hell to watch. You can't.
It is. I can't.
That game's actually so gas.
I can't front that like it's not like it's the same run that's gotten in every event.
Yeah, it's fairly different from each other.
Wildly different every time. Yeah. I will, for example, so I'll bring up Resonance of Fate again here. Resonance of Fate is probably about like for an estimate, you probably would give like a 2 hour and 45 minute estimate, because I think record's like maybe like a 2:30 something. And that's a JRPG that uses like the primary combat is done with guns, and there's a lot of like unique cool mechanics and stuff to it. It's a pretty unique game as far as JRPGs go, and there is sort of like a cult following behind it. But even for a game like that, 2 hours, like bordering on 3 hours, is a lot of time to ask for that game. So it's like the game is dope, and it's like I could learn it, but it's still a hard sell just based on the amount of time that you would need to invest in it. Now, I will say from my own personal experience, in terms of like games that I feel were sort of off the wall picks that I got into the event, both of them were around 30 to 35 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like
which were Gungrave and Van Helsing.
To like 50 is the sweet spot.
Yeah, like Gungrave was, my estimate for that was like 35, and then my estimate for Van Helsing was 40. And Gungrave sort of showed up in the submissions list, and I've heard from a bunch of people on the games community that they really liked that submission, and like it just sort of came up out of nowhere, and like they all sat down and like they would bring it to the table, and there was one guy that was like, can we talk about this Gungrave game? And there would be like 3 other people on that subcommittee that were like, yeah, I actually have this on here too. And it was like, and that was really cool to hear too, because I thought that like, this is my best shot maybe out of the submissions that I had for that event, but I really wasn't sure how good of a chance that it had. But for a 35-minute game that is like running and gunning down, a bunch of enemies for 35 minutes, just playing the game basically like a longer arcade game essentially, right? They were like, they loved it. And I mean, they put me at like really, they put me really early in the morning, like PMC and I had,
but we
forgot our coffee or whatever. We did. Yeah, I did. And then Van Helsing, I will say, Amerlin just told me, yeah, dude, we just really thought this game was hilarious. And that's why they accepted it. He was like, we just thought it was really funny. With Van Helsing, it was like, I literally threw that on as my fifth submission of like, you know what, fuck it. I'll run Van Helsing if they want to take this game. I didn't expect it to get in, because it's a wacky like PS2 action game movie tie-in with Hugh Jackman fighting Dr. Acula. And I was like, all right,
they did that with a lot of people though. I feel like, as they kind of took their weird like fits, like they took rabbits from me.
And then Froob's grief syndrome.
Yeah.
So like, but these were like these really short games that were just kind of off the wall and experimental. And it was like, cool. I mean, I would say, and I think that Brian Nato has said to me before, like there have been a lot of submissions where they just kind of wish that it was half an hour shorter. And like, I don't know if that's still true. I would say nobody hold Brian Nato to that, obviously.
Hold him to it.
Because it's just sort of like it's a sentiment, I think, more than an actual calculation.
Relentlessly, annoyingly. DM
But I kind of understand the sentiment, right? Where it's like, I just wish this is really cool. I just wish it was more condensed is definitely the sentiment there.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're showing off a game that is wacky or whack or kind of under the radar, you want a lot of that stuff to be sort of like a lightning bolt, right? You don't want it to drag across an hour plus. If you can lightning bolt it in like half an hour to 45 minutes, or as Jack said, 50, that's probably a pretty good time slot.
Yeah. What was your whiplash estimate?
It was 30.
30, yeah.
Yeah.
I think 30 is like the golden spot. Like that's like cash money. Because then
anywhere from like that 30 to 50 range is like really good. The thing is you don't want it to be too short, because if it's too short, then it's like the return on investment for getting set up for such a short run.
Yeah, exactly.
Like for example,
the setup takes longer than your run. It's like,
yeah,
I don't really want to do that.
I'll say one good example of them taking a really short run is when they took Big Rigs over the road racing for the awful block for this AGDQ. That was fire. Even though it was like a 3-minute long run for 100%.
That's crazy. Jesus.
Yeah, no, that's a run you should go and watch, because like literally
someone make a vertical version, upload it on TikTok. I'll go watch it.
They don't cap your backwards acceleration. So the fastest way to go through the game is just to drive in reverse.
That's crazy.
And just drive all over the fucking map. It's so funny.
That's hilarious.
It's just like silent awesome. The whole time, other than the truck sound. It's so good. Oh my god.
That's awesome. That is really cool.
So yeah, I think that's sub hour. Like your best
sub
shot
hour,
is sub hour. Like if it's over an hour, you're kind of probably just gonna get cooked up. Like,
I'd say like, and we're talking about estimates, right?
Yeah,
so
like I feel like 1 hour estimate is like your highest of like estimate. So really, like you want your game to be like about like 50 minutes long or less.
You can get away with a 115 or like even a 120, but it starts to become really tough.
Yeah.
That's the game's gotta have that X factor at that point, right?
I think that the 120 is really the sort of make or break, like they really believe in this thing type run.
To submit it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting process thinking about like what's sort of viable, right, for these kind of things, because as I've been going through like kind of sorting through a bunch of the ideas that I have in my head for submission period for this event, mostly what I'm thinking about is like the time restrictions on myself, really. I think that probably the longest possible thing that I will submit is Dynasty Warriors Origins. If I end up running the first 2 chapters of the game and liking it a decent amount, that's probably a sub 2 hour run, but it's a brand new game as well. And it's not even the full game. That's the thing. I have to cut it down in order for it to even be viable. But like there's a few things that I run where like I look at it and I think about the estimate and I'm like, for the game that it is, that's not going to work probably.
Yeah.
So
I think also it's to like I would say like it's fine to submit some of those longer ones if you already have like weird stuff that like if you're someone who runs weird stuff, like if you already have stuff that's in that range, it doesn't really, and you're like these are like the 1, 2, 3 runs that I'm like, okay, this has actually a really good shot. Then you can also just like throw in another one of these submissions and then like try to get feedback on it.
Yeah. You can just throw in Stuart Little too, and then maybe they'll just take it, you know?
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah,
I didn't even pop off. I laughed.
At the end of the day, right?
So like, I popped off.
you can always just submit something and then just see what happens, because the last 2 games that I ran at these events were my 5th submissions where I went, fuck it, I'll throw it on. and then see what happens. And they were the games that they ended up taking, which was DMC4 and Van Helsing. So it doesn't hurt to try, is what I'm saying.
I mean,
Wait,
to be
they took
fair,
DMC4?
I said fuck it, and I submitted Sacred
Yeah.
Stones, and then I got accepted as well. So, like,
DMC4 was SGDQ 2023.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you meant like AGDQ 25. I'm like, huh?
No. Mm-mm.
Seems like all of our fuck it games are just being accepted.
Yeah.
Jaxler had
Gun Grave.
Rabbids, I had Fire Emblem. You had your last two submissions.
They better
Well,
just
Fire Emblem is not a fuck it
Vex
game.
then, because like
Yeah.
True.
they should.
Vex Gang. Yeah.
Vex is so.
Dude, they should just like randomly take Scooby. Although I'm not submitting that anymore. But
Well, I was gonna say,
now.
are you submitting it or no?
I am not submitting for this GDQ
For a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to submit
That
until
makes sense.
2026.
It sounds about right.
It just depends. I mean, it just depends on, because the thing is that like I've been in this fortunate position. I believe I've said it on the podcast before, but I've been on the fortunate position where like everything I've run has been accepted.
Yeah, you're 2 for 2.
Pretty much, yeah. Like the only thing I've ran extensively that hasn't been accepted is Scooby, but also Scooby already got accepted from that nigga on the screen, Jaxler Snowy. So
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of like a resubmit. I'm low key trying to get AMT, but it's like, I can't.
I high key need to see AMT. Like,
Yeah, AMT is really cool. It's just like AMT's in
it's
this.
fucked.
It's a weird spot right now where it's just like it is the hardest category in the game. It's not close. If you actually go for all the strats, which if I'm gonna run it, I'm gonna do that. But it's like,
Yeah, you're gonna do all the strats.
like I would view running AMT the similar way as I would like view like learning Mario 64 and getting good at it. Like that's like it's a year, and I'm like a top level at Scooby. It would take me a year to get that run like decent. Like I already know, but
to a point that you would be satisfied. Exactly.
yeah, or not even to the point that I would be satisfied. The point that I could showcase it at all, like decently,
Because it's
like,
that hard. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a bunch of let's just be so for real bullshit, and none of it's consistent, and none of it, and like maybe like running it, you'll find more consistent ways to do things or whatever. But it's like I don't know. For me, that time investment is like not really worth it.
The ROI isn't there.
Yeah, for like a lot of different reasons. So I that's why like I'm more looking towards like trying to learn more games. I think like because at the actually by the time you guys are watching this, plug for myself real quick. And if you watch this dead on when it comes out, by the time you get into this in like 3 hours, I'll be running Lunist is trending for Black and a Flash.
Nice.
Otherwise,
Hell
you can catch the VOD because it's literally like Friday 4:15 p.m. So like a couple hours after this launches. But regardless, like after that, like I'm going head first into Mario, and I'm gonna try to. My goal is to do a decent 70-star run by the end of the year. That's like my overarching goal. We'll see how fast I move on that or how slow I move on that. I'm gonna try to do the thing where I've been streaming most days, but I'm also like, I don't know, I'm kind of just measuring right now like how much I can keep this up of like streaming and school and work and then like because again I'm in a limbo with like the third guy at my workplace. Like if he stays, I'm definitely good. If he goes, then it's like I don't know if I can keep doing the thing, because that means I'll have to probably actually work from home while also doing schoolwork during the time that I normally stream, right? Because like I would be at the shows filming the shows, like doing the actual on camera work. So
on site,
regardless though, so I've been kind of like tampering in new games, which is why I was like looking at Kotor 2, because it's just like I think also like no one asked for this, but hey, it's the name of the podcast. I think like part of the reason my Fire Emblem run was so good was because I liked the game, right? Which is a crazy sentence to say.
Whoa.
Because most speedrunners, they run games that they like, right? And I'm like, I just run games that I think are cool, right? And it just happened that Sacred Stones lined up that I thought the run was really fucking cool. I still think that run is so cool. And also it's my third favorite game ever. So it's like kind of a perfect storm. And I'm like, okay, cool, let me do this. And obviously, I literally had someone in my chat last night coming in and be like, hey, I just watched this run. It was fucking gas. I was just like, thanks. And then I made a joke about David Lynch dying. And then
oh my God. That probably sours the conversation.
I only got to be in that call
they thought
for
it was
like
really funny.
Oh, okay,
dude.
good.
I
Fair
only
enough.
got to be in that call for like maybe 30 minutes, but we went through, we launched some fucking truth nukes. Like, holy shit.
Terrible jokes. They weren't funny. Anyway.
No, they were great.
They were hilarious, but they're also not funny.
We were on a fucking roll, dude. I'm so proud of the work we put in on that.
That's true. You know, we were kind of gaming, but like, regardless,
Incredible work.
I was looking at Kotor 2 because I was like, hey, like, maybe I should try to find more games that I like, which is kind of hard because, again, I don't play that many games. And a lot of the games that I like have terrible speedruns, i.e. the entire Assassin's Creed series.
Yeah.
Which are like some of my favorite
true.
games of all time. Like, that's my favorite game series of all time. Fire Emblem. Outside of Fire Emblem, it's my second favorite game series of all time.
Damn, the first game is really 3.5 hours, bro.
Yeah, and then like they're all like an hour and a half or 2 hours long. Like, and when you watch it, it's basically just a let's play.
Nuts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's no sauce. It's sauceless, hoeless, bitchless. Like
unseasoned chicken.
Yeah, and it's just you know like
Damn.
it's like whatever. But like I think like there might be like one or two that like are close enough to that hour cap that I might be able to get it in. But it's just like at the end of the day, I need to think the run's cool. And to be fair, I haven't looked into all of them because I do like a decent chunk of those games. Like, I like most of them besides the new ones. The new ones are fucking hot garbage. Don't talk to me about them. But like the old ones up through like Syndicate, I loved basically all of them. Like AC2 through Syndicate, I loved every game. So, but yeah. So I'm kind of like on the hunt for more games, but I don't know. My current thoughts right now are the KOTOR 2 thing that we just discovered, and then Chain Dive.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about Chain Dive a little bit.
It's a pretty good game.
Just because it might have some schmovement, and it's also like a decent time.
It's
right?
not a might. It's not a might. I got my hands on that game a couple GDQs ago, dude.
I mean, I have it next to me, but
yeah,
I got it behind me.
Yeah, Cosmic Theory back.
It's a good game.
You know, so it's just like I have a couple games. Also Vex kind of again, but I don't know. I feel like all of these. I feel like I just have to do Mario 64 first. I feel like I just have to do it, and it's just like, and we'll see from there. Fair. Because I'm not planning on submitting to this GDQ or next GDQ. I think I'm just hard committing to not doing that. I just money wise, like stress wise, like. Because really what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to also take summer classes so that I can hopefully be done by a year from now. Like hopefully like spring 2026, I can be like
done.
Yeah. Well, moving on to my master's probably.
Yeah.
Which will then be another 2 years. But like I'm trying to gun it down as quickly as possible. So, but with my master's, I'll probably be a bit more lenient about it. Because at that point I might stop working to do that.
Okay.
Maybe not. Probably not. Let's be real. I like money too much. I wouldn't do that.
Can't buy all your merch without that.
That's true. I can't. And we all know I live for the merch, but yeah. Anyway, Luka just got traded to the Lakers for Anthony Davis.
Oh
we
my
didn't want
God.
to talk, guys. Look, I'll let you guys leave in a second. I just have to mention it because how the fuck did this trade happen? Okay, for the two of you and for probably all of our podcast listeners that don't know what the fuck is going on, let's be so for real. None of these niggas watch the NBA. I'll just dumb this down for you. So, basketball players, just as a unity of men. Men, you reach your prime at the age of 26, and it lasts until you're roughly 34, right? That's like your big prime years where you're like super, like you're like physically, you're just in the best shape ever, and then also mentally, you typically have like got it figured out, especially in basketball at the point because you've played roughly like 5 years of basketball or something like that, right? So the Dallas Mavericks, who were just in the NBA Finals this past year. Their superstar is named Luka Doncic, and he just got them to the finals. They also have another previous Western Conference Finals appearance before this. He got them to the finals, and then this year, they decide to trade him. He is 25. He's turning 26, I think, in a couple of days. And they traded him for a 31-year-old Anthony Davis, who's about to turn 32. Now, I'm not that good at math, but that's 6 years. So you're trading a dude who is, by the way, top 3 player in the league. For now, AD is top 10 player in the league. Like, he's really fucking good player. But he's not top 3, and he's 31. He's like, let's just say he's 32, and Luka's 26, and Luka's just entering his prime. That's why this trade is set the whole world on fire, which is probably why everyone has heard about it. Like, even if you don't watch basketball, you've probably heard about this stupid fucking trade. Because it's just crazy. It's like imagining, like, how do I put this in speedrun terms? Imagine if you traded, like,
GreenSuigi.
This would be like trading GreenSuigi for, like,
Simply.
I was about to be rude. I'm not going to be rude. I feel like I can't actually use, because because the second person I was going to say would be like a bad deal, even though they're at the top of the game. So maybe I don't say that. It would be like trading like Mario 64 for like Mario. What's like a mid-tier Mario game? Like
Galaxy 2?
Not Odyssey. Yeah, like Galaxy 2. Like Galaxy 2 is a really good game. Probably a really solid run, but it's not Mario 64. You know what I mean? It's just
certainly is not.
Insane trade. Also, De'Aaron Fox got traded to the Spurs, and I'm super happy to watch him and Wemby play. Anyway, that's the end of the podcast, everyone. I kept it short.
Yeah, okay.
I kept it short. That's the end of the podcast.
Applause for the man keeping it short.
Guys, there's 2 more days of the trade deadline. I'm locked into Sham's Twitter account. I'm literally opening Twitter exclusively to press the search button, go to Sham's Twitter, and then look at his tweets, and I close it because I don't know. I'm trying to be off that shit.
Sham, we have to know. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to know. Anyway, so anything for you all to shout out? Again, my Black and Flash run is probably going to be up in the next, probably today, later on today, or if not tomorrow. They're probably going to upload it on the GDQ YouTube channel. So if you want to watch the True Ending run, it's a really cool run, and it probably will go well. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done it yet, but it's probably good because I'm running it, so I think it'll be fine.
That's fair.
It's funny because you're definitely not being humble, but I completely believe you at the same time. Because it's like,
I believe
it's just like, it's just like capping it.
You know, proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably going to be a good run. Anyway,
it probably will be.
Not really. I'm still working on the video. I'm like cooking up a long ass fucking video.
He has a 6-page outline, everyone.
Yeah.
7 now.
I am at 7 pages, not double spaced, and it's not even halfway done. So
Jesus.
Yeah. So I guess all I'm trying to say is pray for me or put me in your thoughts and prayers.
It'll
whatever
be out in
works for
March.
you. I'm hoping end of February, but we'll see how long it takes. But
let's see if he beats the Architects album release. Go ahead, Cosmic.
I was gonna say, so these things will have happened in the past now by the time this is posted. But so I was on a podcast. It was a German podcast, but they do English episodes.
You're cheating
sometimes.
on us?
No.
Oh my god!
I was just a guest.
On us. Oh my god!
But it's called Calm to Hagens, or the Compendium of Discomfort. It was with a buddy, Don Mosquito, and we talked about Dynasty Warriors Origins for like 2 hours.
That sentence went nowhere that I thought it would. Just absolutely nowhere. It kept just turning. I was like, we're swerving.
We swerving, yeah. And the episode is called "You're Going Back to Whacking 1,000 Dudes," and so
save some for the rest of us.
Yeah, for real. And then following up on that, it'll probably be on my YouTube by the time this episode's up. But on Thursday, or the day before this goes up, I'll be doing a chapter 1 through 2 speedrun of Dynasty Warriors Origins, just to kind of test out some routing, and see kind of how long those 2 chapters are, see what's possible, and all that sort of stuff. So that'll be fun. I'm going to continue to work on Devil May Cry 4 as well. So tune into those because, yeah, it's pretty dope. That's really about it for me, though. I thought I would have gotten started on YouTube stuff or a new run by now other than Dynasty Warriors, but I did not.
Nope.
So, whatever.
Oh, also, actually, I just lied to everyone. I'll be uploading my run from GDQ on my channel. So if you go to my Nestani Speedruns, I forgot that I have my YouTube channel. I forgot that I have a YouTube channel, and I actually am now uploading all of my marathon runs on there because I'm basically killing that channel to only be speedrun stuff, and then I've made a new channel to make other things that I'm probably never gonna make. But I do have another channel. It's ready to go. I'm just never gonna put anything on it. But yeah, that's that. Just get the fuck out of here. Goodbye.
Go away.
Bye.